Okay, let's go to design the motor housing for the fan, the last part, after which we'll be going to assemble it. Now go to front plane and sketch, make a circle, say yes, smart dimension, say 100, yes, 100 millimeters, and say yes, this is what we need. Move out of the sketch, go extrude it by 80. Just keep clicking this till we reach 80. Say yes, this is what we need. Fillet the corners. I think this is the right amount by 10. I think this is good enough. Yep. Moving on to the fillet, we have to fillet this side by 10 millimeter, this side by 20. So we just go ahead and apply that again. This time just increase the diameter of the fillet. Click on this. So again, this fillet is bigger than that one. Say yes, this is what we need, and then we will use the shell command. Click on this and say we need this to be 2. Say enter, and we say shell. So this entire surface needs to wait. I think we were supposed to click there, otherwise it shells that bottom part. I think we need that. Maybe not. Let me check. So we definitely don't want to shell this surface. We need to shell this entire structure because it's a solid inside, but we need to select the entire structure and then press shell by 2 millimeters and say yes. And now it's shelled, I mean it's hollow inside, and if you wanna sure, you click this button and move it a bit, and you can see that it's hollow. So it shelled the entire structure because we started by drawing a circle and then extruded it, so it was a solid piece. Now we shelled it by 2 millimeter after selecting the entire structure, so we can see that its walls are 2 millimeter thick and the rest is hollow. So obviously this is going to be the casing of the fan. So we will start drawing on the smaller fillet side, the side we applied a 10 millimeter fillet. This is the side we applied the 21. So we'll start drawing on this. Let's sketch. We will draw a center point straight slot. It's basically an ellipse, not really an ellipse, but this option, center point straight slot, select that. And from the center point, we just click on the center point. It'll start dragging out a line, and you can just, nope, that's not what we need to do. Let me just do that again. Don't need to click the center, just need to move upwards in that direction, align it, and draw an ellipse, wherever you want to call it. Use smart dimensions, and from the center of this to this, it should be 25. And the entire distance of it, meaning from this point to this point, this little piece should be 15. So that's looking nice. And I think we can control the something else, but I think this is good enough. This is basically the little slots that are cut out at the back of the fan housing to allow air to go in and cool the motor. This is basically cooling. This is made for cooling. These cuts are made. If you ever see the back of a fan, you'll see little cuts made in this way. So we just say extruded cut. This surface is already obviously created. Make sure it doesn't pass through the front because we need that. And we say, okay, this is what we need. So now there's a cut and no damage to the front or anything. We go to linear pattern, circular pattern. Drop down menu. There's an option to circular pattern. First, we select the direction in which we will need the pattern. This is a circle, so we said, okay, this is the direction and the feature to what feature do we want to pattern. So this cut that we made, extruded cut, so now it's showing a preview of how it will look like if you were to pattern this 3 times, 2 times, 4, 5, 6. Do it as you please. I think 7 is looking good for this, so we will go ahead and say yes. And now there's holes cut out at the back of the housing for cooling, basically. Okay, so basically this is the front of the fan. This is where the blades connect. But these slits, as I said before, are made for cooling. We also need to do that at the back. So we will just sketch on the surface. And this time, instead of selecting in this drop down menu, we select the 3-point arc slot. And what we do is basically move up from this point. Select this 3-point arc slot, move up, and just use your intuition to make just this small you need to click twice to have it take shape. It needs to be about this big. No, not too big, not too small. Say yes, this is what we need, and say exit sketch. Same thing as before, we need to extrude cut it and make sure it's not cutting the other side. Just decrease the height. Say okay. So the hole is made, and we will again linear pattern, circular pattern, drop down menu. There's a circular pattern option. We say provide the direction. Direction is this. Now it's already selected because that's the last thing we worked on, so it's already took it and multiply it. You can decrease it, decrease it. I think 7 is looking okay. 7 is looking right. So now this is cut out this way. You can even make a spiral or a cool looking design. You know those cuts that are made in the disc brakes, J-hook cuts. You can make those with this type of cutting. Looks pretty nice. Okay, now go back to this surface and say sketch. Select circle, draw a circle. This is basically now drawing the shaft of the motor, because this is the motor housing, so we're gonna have to draw the shaft in order to connect it to the fan blades that we made before. Just give it smart dimensions, say 10 millimeters, enter. That's done. We save this, say this, okay, and we simply extrude it using the features command. And make sure to extrude it mid plane, so it obviously this shaft goes in a few inches because the motor is sitting somewhere in the middle, so the shaft goes in as well as moves out from this. So the dimension we give for this is, I think 60 or 70 would be the right value. 60 would be incorrect. I've done it, I've made it 80. I've made it 80 millimeter. I think 80 is the right amount. Make sure to do this mid plane so that it goes in. It's going in, but not passing through the back. It's going in only halfway to connect to the motor. And say this is what we need. Okay, this is the shaft of the motor coming out of the hollow casing. And then we go to the top plane. The top plane is this, right? Passing through the center. Say okay, this is what we need. Go to the top plane and we draw a circle about here. Doesn't matter where, just off to the side slightly. Give it the smart dimension treatment and say we need 12, and dimensions are set for this circle. Now we just need to set the dimension of how far it needs to be from this wall. We say it needs to be, we give it the dimension of 25, be 25 millimeters away from this. And again, using the smart dimension, this is how far it will be from this side. Move it a bit down, yes. And this is what we need. Okay, exit sketch. And now we extrude it. Not mid-plane. I don't think we do it mid-plane. Let me check. We extrude it by blind and 50. Let me check 60, how high it is. I think 60 is the right amount. Okay. Now we need to sketch on this directly. This is basically, we're making the button for the rotation mechanism. Click on this sketch and draw a circle. At the center of this circle needs to be our dimension. Specify it needs to be exactly 17. Almost got it. Exactly 17. And move out of the sketch and extrude it above this by 2 millimeters. I think 2 is, yep, 2 is enough, because this is a small button that you press to control the rotation of. 2 is good enough. And then we also fillet this corner. Fillet the corners by how much? 2 millimeters. Fillet the top corner. And now just save this part, and we will start assembling in the next video. Will be the last, which will be the last part of this series.